It's where all the cool kids go. The friendly info will show you around. We reward him with the fresh souls of our customers. Shadows, t-shirts, plenty tees, and so much more. Tags on deck, horror shop you will never want to leave. Your friendly info will show you around. We reward him with the fresh souls of our customers. Candles, t-shirts, blended teas, and so much more. Daylights on deck, horror shop you will never want to leave. Watching movies with a dead chick and the gang, funny, strange, hysterical, or just plain bad. This weekend just got amazing. It's a watch-along weekend. Horror and sci-fi, comedy and more. We got it all this weekend. This weekend just got amazing. It's a watch-along weekend. Horror and sci-fi, comedy and more. We got it all this weekend. Howdy, gang, and welcome to the little bit delayed watch along for Edge of the Axe. I got so into my class that I was taking that time got away from me, and I don't even have my movie queued up. But again, we're going to be watching Edge of the Axe, and I'm going to take a minute or two to see if I can find this. Maybe on YouTube for those of you that don't own a copy. Well, apparently you can. You can watch this on YouTube. So I'm going to put this link in here for you guys and gals that are going to be participating tonight. And I just want to say right off that I'm not angry. I don't want this to come off as sounding angry, but I'm going to get the movie started here in a few minutes, and I'm going to tell you where I'm queued up to and all that stuff. But if I go for 30 minutes or more and either I don't have anybody in here or nobody's participating, this is how it's going to be from here on out. I will just shut everything down. And again, this is not me being mad. It's about my time. And if you guys and gals want to be in here, great. I want you to be. If you don't, then I don't want to be sitting here talking to myself. So I will give this a good 30 minutes. And if we get 30 minutes into the movie and hardly anybody, or, there's nobody in here, or there's one or two people showing up in here, nobody's chatting, I don't make it a requirement for people to chat. But when you have maybe two people in here and nobody's chatting, it, it makes me feel kind of foolish. Okay. So I don't want to waste y'all's time. if you're not enjoying it enough to talk about the movie, I don't want to waste y'all's time, and I don't want to waste mine either. So that's how it's going to be. I mean, if you, um, yes, the poet, and thank you for putting something in the chat. Time is a valuable thing. Um, it very much is. And I hope that the poet and everybody else, I think the poet understands where I'm coming from here. I don't want this to sound like it's coming from a place of anger. It's just, if people don't have time, they don't have time. Just as simple as that. Or if people want to go to other streams that are going on at the same time mine are. Again, I'm not mad. I'm not jealous or anything. If that is what people want, that's what they want. Um, and I don't want to force people to chat, but honestly, guys and gals, I feel pretty foolish sitting here talking. And, probably people that watch this after the fact say, boy, this is silly. Why is she sitting here? Nobody's chatting. She's sitting here watching a movie basically by herself. So I love doing these watch alongs, but I like for there to be a little participation. I think that's the whole purpose of a watch along. So, like I said, the poet, if you hang in here with me and you want to hang in here and can hang in here for the whole movie, hey, buddy, I'll stay for you. But it has become apparent, especially on Sundays, which I meant to do this last night and I was sick all day and didn't. And thank you again to Poet for saying that you hoped I felt better or telling me to get well soon. I really, really appreciate that. So, normally I would have done this one on a Saturday had I not gotten sick. So, okay. Depends on how long the movie is. I can probably tell you that. It's 91 minutes, the poet. 91 minutes. About an hour, 31 minutes. So it's about average for back in the day. And again, if you don't own your own copy of Edge of the Axe, I have the YouTube link so that you can watch along with me that way if you would like. Because I don't know how many people have this movie actually. So I'm going to go ahead and take a second and get mine queued up. Then I'm going to do a little housekeeping stuff. And then if I still have some people in here, we'll go ahead and get started with this movie. And we'll see how things go, right? Sometimes it takes a little bit to load. Got the Arrow video. Okay. So let's make sure I got my subtitles enabled here. All right. So gang, I'm about 9 seconds in on my Blu-ray, and it's up on the screen is Sparkle Car Wash. So I'm going to get some housekeeping stuff out of the way, and then it'll probably be time to go ahead and do the countdown. So because this is a live stream, if I go ahead and do the whole watch along, then movie roulette will be in full effect. And how do you play movie roulette? Well, you can give a $5 or more super chat during this or any other live stream I do. And if you do that, you can pick any movie of your choosing for me to watch and do a review of for an upcoming episode of Movie Roulette. Also, I want to remind everybody to hop on over to deaditesondeck.com, my horror shop. Tell them Poe sent you. If you can remember the name of my YouTube channel, which is also Deadites on Deck, you should be able to remember the shop site because it is simply deaditesondeck.com. Okay. So I try to make it easy on you guys and gals. So I have t-shirts, I have hats, I have mouse pads, I have tote bags, I have blended teas, I have candles, I have Booga Booga Bears, soon Pyro plushies. Poe being the first Pyro plushie will soon be making their way to the shop site. If you are not a horror fan, or even if you are a horror fan but you don't see the design that you would like on a hat or a t-shirt or whatever, please let me know. Just fill out the handy dandy form on the homepage of the shop site and I will be glad to see what we can do. Even if you've started your own business, you've got a side business and you want some logos put on t-shirts, hats, whatever, I'll try to make you a deal. You can't refuse, okay? So just keep that in mind. Again, the site is deaditesondeck.com. We got a whole lineup of stuff coming up this week, provided, my dentist appointment goes okay tomorrow and all of that stuff. Hopefully I won't be too late getting back home to prepare for celluloid trash. I'm going to be talking about bloodsuckers from outer space and breeders. Okay. I'm not sure if that was thunder or not. It sure sounded like thunder. I didn't think we were supposed to get any storms today, but hopefully won't lose power. Don't want to lose power. Definitely do not. But anyway, so we've got celluloid trash coming up Monday, hopefully starting at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Tuesday will be the premiere of horror fandom. It's a way of life. Going to be talking about all things horror conventions, why those of us that still clamor to go to them even after the inflated pricing, the changing of the landscape of horror conventions. And I hope you guys and gals will join me for that. Wednesday will be another cannon fodder. Thursday, another They're All Messed Up. Definitely no Friday Foolish this Friday because I have to work a late Friday, unfortunately. So, no watch-alongs this coming weekend. But you guys and gals hopefully can look forward to all the programming I got coming up here in the coming week. So, and I may throw in something on Friday whenever I get off from work at 7 Eastern time. So, I may do something at 8 or something like that. All right. So, we're going to go ahead and get started in here about a minute or two. Again, I am queued up 9 seconds in on the Arrow Blu-ray of Edge of the Axe. Again, I have a link to Edge of the Axe on YouTube in case you don't own your own copy and you want to watch along tonight. I am 9 seconds in. Sparkle Car Wash is up on the screen. A sign for Sparkle Car Wash. And we'll give it about a minute or two, and then we'll go ahead and do the countdown and get this party started. And I'm also going to pull my microphone over because I want y'all to be able to hear me. I think the poet's been hearing me okay, but I just want to make sure. Oh, and I also wanted to remind you guys and gals that are in here that the next two movies for Evil Dead Slasher Fest, the first Friday in August, will be Drive-In Massacre and Blood Cult. It's going to be a bad movie night on Evil Dead Chick Slasher Fest. So y'all can look forward to that. Like I said, the first Friday of August, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We do have an intermission between the two movies, so you can run to the restroom, get you a refresher on your drink, get you a snack, popcorn, whatever. I mean, of course, in the comfort of your own home, you can go to the bathroom any dang time you want to, but I'd have a built-in intermission because there are two movies when I do Evil Dead Chick Slasher Fest. All right, so let's go ahead and do the countdown, and we'll get started with this lovely movie here. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Press play. And we are off and running. And I'll just tell you guys and gals, the kill coming up here at the beginning of the movie is one of the most shocking kills for the beginning of a movie that I've seen in a slasher film. And kind of unique because I don't think I've ever seen a kill take place in a car wash other than this movie. But if y'all have, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. And this lady appears to be a nurse that's going through the car wash. And I am, folks, just a little side note on me. I am so claustrophobic now that I cannot go through these automatic car washes anymore because I just feel like I'm drowning and suffocating. You're probably thinking, gee, Dana, we didn't need to know that. But so we're seeing a little movement there that looks like a person moving around. And the nurse, she kind of looks, and she thinks she sees something, but it's like, did I see something or did I not see something? Oh boy. And I mean, this is really brutal, folks. I mean, that killer is just chopping the hell out of that woman. And you're gonna find out that this has to do, this is in the early days of computers and computer graphics and stuff like that. And you can see if you're watching this that the credits that are coming up look like they're being typed on a computer. And Barton Fawkes, who plays the main guy here, he's like a computer guru. And Mr. Jack Taylor's on this, of course. This is a Spanish horror film. And it's supposed to take place in California, but I believe the majority of it was filmed in Spain. Maybe Madrid, but I'm not really sure. Yeah, the main character's name is Gerald. Yeah, this says nominally set in Northern California, but shot primarily in Madrid. And I'm assuming the pseudonym for the director's name that came up was a pseudonym because this is actually directed by Jose Ramon Larraz, who also did Vampires and Symptoms. Yeah, it does look good on YouTube. I just saw that little clip, the poet, and yeah, it definitely looks good. I'm assuming that somebody put up the high def version. So we see that Gerald is opening a box, and we're going to see that it's computer equipment, basically. Now, I want to caution folks here that are sensitive to animal violence. Of course, this isn't real animal violence that's taking place, but we see these pigs here. And somebody is evidently distressing these poor pigs. And you saw one of them's head being grabbed. So, just a word of warning, a pig's head is going to end up, I believe, in someone's bed. And you can see the blood splatters all over the floor. There's the pig's head there. And this actor here, not Barton Fox, but the guy outside, is Paige Mosley, who I think Paige Mosley has been in several things, but horror fans that watch a lot of these, lesser known movies until, Arrow and Finger Syndrome and Severn or whoever the boutique label may be pulls them out of the mud and dusts them off and stuff like that and puts them back out. But Paige Mosley was also on Girls Night Out. He was one of the fraternity pledges at the party. So Paige Mosley's character is an exterminator, and he needs Gerald's help um, over at a local bar to see if they can figure out where this scent is coming from and what it is. So they're talking about they can't, you know, Maria's gone. She was the gorgeous blonde that they were talking about that used to be behind the bar. So they're going to go in the cellar of this bar. The reason Gerald is wanted or needed is because he's apparently got a nose like a dog and he can, pick out these different scents and stuff. But apparently this smell is bad enough that's affecting everybody. And they've only found a couple of rats. For that kind of smell, I guess they were expecting more. I think we're going to find out really soon what is making this smell. I think they found that gorgeous blonde. She ain't too gorgeous anymore. They found Maria. So they're thinking that Maria killed herself, that she hung herself. So keep Patterson in mind, folks, because the town of Patterson's going to factor into a big part of what's happening to people in Paddock County. That doctor's got hell of a mane of hair there. Oh, goodness, sorry, folks. When we find out that Paige Mosley's character is married to a much older woman, and pretty much the reason he's married to her is because of her money. He doesn't love her. Hey, Daniel. Bodacious. That's a word in the late 80s that was used a lot. I heard my older cousin Shane say bodacious a lot back in the day. Yeah, I do believe it is thundering, folks. So hopefully I'll be able to stay on the air. I'm going to take a peek out the window real quick here. Also, going to get me a little bit of a snack here, gang. Some off-brand, store-brand Doritos. Do I have a timestamp to blow it? I'm 19 minutes 37 seconds in. Gerald's talking to this girl he just met at another bar in town, apparently. Hey, Gory Tiger. So, Gerald's just met Lillian. So, apparently, Lillian is a computer geek just like Gerald is. And apparently, Paige Mosley's wife in this movie doesn't care about him either. So, very primitive computers compared with what we've got nowadays. He's got Coke, he's got Sunkist, he's got everything in there. Oh, this is like a very primitive messaging system. You know, now we text people and we use, you know, Facebook Messenger and things like that. So she asked the computer if Gerald was gay. To which it answered data incomplete. I think this chick Rita they just showed at the bar. Um, is basically a hooker. I mean, men pay her to have sex with them. Now, apparently, she's headed now to service a client. And again, gang, I apologize for not being able to do this last night. We probably would have had a better turnout had it been last night. So apparently, this person is somebody that she knows. Even though that mask is simple, the killer is wearing, I still really like it. It's very creepy. And these kills, they don't hold anything back in this movie. I mean, the chopping with that axe is just relentless. And we have the typical law enforcement, like they always do in these movies, trying to explain things away as, in this case, well, she must have fell on the train tracks and got run over. Um, and the railroad guy is basically saying, no, she didn't, but she was hamburger meat, basically, and that the cuts were clean and all that and wouldn't have been made by a train. So, again, local law enforcement trying to cover something up. Again, here we see the cheater, Paige Mosley, out on the boat with Susan. I think her name was Susan. I think we're going to soon be seeing, as Steve calls him, Jumpin' Jack Taylor. Those of you that watch a lot of Spanish horror films like Pieces, etc., will remember Jack Taylor as being in a lot of primarily these Spanish horror films. In Pieces, he was a college professor, Professor Brown, the anatomy professor. So apparently, a lot of men in town um, slept with the woman and paid her $100, the one that just got chopped up. So, as with any slasher movie in particular, but horror movie, there are going to be lots of suspects and lots of red herrings and all that good stuff. So, Gerald promised to bring the extra computer that he had, the older computer, for Lillian. That's right. Everybody's a suspect. And I will tell you guys and gals, if there's any gals watching, that even for me that has seen a lot of these types of movies, um, I got confused along the way. And I'm still not sure about one or two things. But I don't want to give it all away because for those of you that this is maybe your first time watching Edge of the Axe, I don't want to give, you know, key plot points away. I don't know if that's a Spanish thing or what, but I've never seen um, dish racks that are up on the where you dry the dishes that are up on the wall. If somebody has seen those in the States, let me know. So we're back to this lady that found the poor pig's head in the bed. It's very windy. And she's looking at that axe and it's like, how did that get there? Uh oh. Well, we can definitely say this killer's dressed for the weather, right? Ooh. This is also a very bloody movie, you know, if you haven't figured that out already for watching along. seen women smoke Marlboros. I always thought that was kind of odd, especially as young as this girl's supposed to be. So this may be a little confusing. So apparently, um, it seems that Lillian accessed a file that Gerald had on his computer, and it's got all these people that have died so far in the movie. And this is a cop that I'm guessing he's the sheriff, the guy in the jacket. But I don't much care for him. So Lillian is telling Gerald about her fast. And her apparently her mom died. Um, her and her sister Susan were sent off to a boarding school, and apparently Lillian didn't like it there and played sick so much that, like she said, she really began to believe she was sick. And she was on medications and stuff, and so um, she was sent home from the boarding school. And her father apparently said, I never want to see another doctor in this house again. She said she got off all the medication and she was all the better for it. And now she's asking, why do you have the names of all the women that were killed in a computer file? So it's around this time that Gerald is a little bit of a suspicious character. And there is Jumpin' Jack Taylor, as Steve likes to call him, with that bow tie. And I believe that is May Heatherly there that's conducting the choir. And I believe that she was the one that played the little boy's mother at the beginning of Pieces, the one that slaps him and calls him stupid. And the one that gets chopped up, mommy gets chopped up at the beginning of pieces. I believe that is her. And we see that Lillian is in the choir. So we're not sure what is going on there. There's a lot of, back and forth, people meeting eyes and stuff like that. And it appears that they're all looking at Lillian, but we're not sure why. So Lillian's sister Susan is out on the boat with Paige Mosley's character there. And all of a sudden he says, I got to get back to work. It's like, okay. Oh, and there's someone's head. So we're starting to find out where these people that are getting killed off worked. Um, this Maureen Adams that they were just talking about, the one whose head showed up, um, worked at some psychiatric clinic. And we're going to also find out that these other people that have been killed, these women that have been killed, also worked in the mental health field. And there was a little bit of tension between Gerald and his friend there. So they're suspicious of Lillian and Susan's father, John Nibbs. Told you there would be a lot of, suspicions around a lot of different people and a lot of red herrings. And I can't recall, folks, if that dog, Ricky, that she's looking for turns up dead or not. So just be wary of that. I think she does find her dog because there's something dripping and it's not water. So I just want y'all to be aware of that. Apparently, there's some blood dripping from through the ceiling from a room upstairs. Yeah, that I'm sorry, but that looks. I know they didn't kill a poor little dog, but that just looks too realistic for me, folks. I mean, they may have sedated a dog and put blood around it. I mean, that's possible to make it look realistic. But yeah, I could do without that. Sure, everybody's got guns and some. Ooh, there went a finger. Like I said, this movie pulls no punches with the the violence. So I don't really know uh, what's going on with Lillian, but she tells Gerald she doesn't want to play tonight because she's depressed and she's got a headache. And y'all may have heard the thunder. I didn't hear it for a while, and now I'm hearing it again. So, again, hopefully, like I said, I can stay on here for the duration. So she's asked Gerald to come over so she can talk to him. And of course, he wants to know what's wrong. She's like, I don't know. So she starts to tell him that something happened years and years ago. And she starts talking about Charlie. And she says, Charlie was my cousin, and he used to come over all the time. And they were about 10. And one day they were playing, and Charlie got in the swing. And she started pushing him in the swing, and he yelled at me, telling me to stop, and I didn't. That I just kept pushing him harder and harder. And Gerald tries to make a joke out of it. And she looks at him and says, he fell off the swing and fractured his skull. And that she's told he's still in the hospital. It's been 6 years. I'm still trying to get my uncle to tell me something about him. So she says there was only one neb. She looked it up on the computer, and they were released from a mental hospital 2 years ago. And so she said the other night she had a dream about Charlie, and he had a bloodstained axe, and she knew that he was coming to kill her. So, gang, I'm going to have to take a restroom break, so I'm going to take myself out momentarily out of the stream, and I'll be right back. All right, gang, I'm back with my ice cream cone. The way this is shot here, the funeral scene is very odd. Zooming in on people's faces and stuff. So Gerald's been looking all over for Lillian, and she turns up at his place. You guys and gals will probably laugh, but of course, Gerald's my favorite character in this. You know, Paige Mosley's character might be, supposed to be the hot one that everybody's after, but I tend to go after um, or not go after, but gravitate towards the kind of, geeky, nerdy guys that are very sensitive. And some people might say, well, that makes them, wimpy or whatever, and not as, attractive. But I disagree with that. I always gravitate towards these types of characters. So Gerald's, he says, you haven't been honest with me. What are you looking for on the computer? And she said, I'm trying to find more information on my cousin Charlie. Because she says nobody's being honest with her, that they're saying he died. And she's saying almost all the women who had been killed recently had worked at the psychiatric hospital where Charlie was. And she said one of the doctors was a Philip Martin, and she's kind of interrogating him. She's saying, is that your father? And he said Philip Martin married my mother after my father died. So he would be Gerald's stepfather. So Laura here is not very happy because she's been told she's bankrupt, basically. Come here, Doris. Come on, we can do it. I'm trying to get Darcy up here. Come on. And I believe Laura has a little thing going on with Jack Taylor's character here. My poor little girl's scared. I'm thinking the indication is that Jack Taylor's character is a little bit of a it's the character of Christopher. Well, Laura has had a minor accident, but If he's stuck out here in the middle of the woods, Jack Taylor's no help. Christopher's no help. Very Friday the 13th esque there when she thought it was Christopher in the car and it turns out to be the killer. So Richard, Paige Mosley's character, showed up and he says, Laura's missing. And Gerald's like, so she left you. You were going to leave her anyway. So Richard acted like he was kind of mad at Gerald, but then it ended on a lighthearted note. And he said, have a good time with Lillian tonight. And he makes the comment about safe sex. So Mr. Ned is calling about Lillian and wants somebody to be able to take her home because he can't come and pick her up. But there's a lot of people in this town that act very odd. So you really, don't know who you can trust and who you can't trust. So these girls in the choir are asking Lillian about Gerald, and she's talking about how sweet he is. So, gang, we're getting, hopefully it won't storm or storm bad. Uh, and I can stay on here for the duration. I do appreciate, the poet, Gory Tiger, Daniel, you guys being in here tonight and keeping me company. Um, and I hope I didn't earlier, I didn't guilt anybody into staying. Um, and I hope you have for those of you that got to stay for the majority of the film. I hope that you have enjoyed it, especially if it's one that you haven't seen before. because we're about in the last quarter of the movie. The movie went by really fast, but I think for me, as I've said with a lot of films that I enjoy watching, um, they don't seem to go on long. And this wasn't a long movie anyway, or it is not a long movie anyway. It's just an hour and 31 minutes, and we're about an hour and 15 minutes into the film. What if the preacher is in on it? I don't want to. I don't want to give anything away to poet, but you never know. You never know with these things. So this guy Broderick, um, that works, I guess, fixing. I don't know if he's a carpenter or what. It seems like he is. It's okay, girls. That thunder scares the girls, don't it? Um, so apparently, I think they found Laura's body. Um, and there's Jack Taylor's body too, Christopher. He apparently, according to the preacher, he was the music, kind of the music director, choir director, whatever you want to call. So they've had 7 killings in the past 2 weeks, 6 women and one man. But Broderick, evidently, to get back to the Broderick character, was going to give Lillian a ride home. So they found one of the pins that the young people that work at Neb's bar um, wear. I got all three of my girls back here with me. I think that's Dudley Do Right. Isn't that Dudley Do Right game on the side of that computer? So she's really wanting Gerald to answer her, and she's not getting an answer. Okay, lovers. I have to comfort a poor old girl. So at this point, we're probably wondering if um, Lillian's going to be the next victim because somebody with black gloves is evidently creeping around. And the few times I've seen this movie before tonight, I always thought um, this group of scenes here is really, really tense. Or maybe it's just me. But even though I know what the ending is, this is still tense to me. This little cat and mouse type of thing. And she's saying, Charlie, is this you? And it's Gerald. And he says, I'm not Charlie. Charlie doesn't exist. You invented him. You're Charlie. And she, starts freaking out and saying, I'm not Charlie. And he says, nobody in town knows your medical history. But he says he finally figured it out. You gave me a clue when you borrowed my computer to check out names. A last name for somebody with the last name Nebbs. And the clinic was in Patterson. That's where you were. And she's denying it. Lillian Nebbs was admitted to the psychiatric ward at the age of 8. She fell from a swing and something called psychoamnesia. I don't even know if that is a real thing. Probably not. You would have to ask somebody in the psychiatric field. She had cranial encephalitis because of the fall from the swing. And then she was diagnosed as an acute psychopath. And that's where she created Charlie. So all these women that were killed were all part of this. So the hooker and the the hairdresser she killed because her father had had sex with her. So she's saying, you're Charlie. She says, she's wanting to kill him now. So we can see that Gerald does care about her. He's trying to help her. But at this point, it doesn't seem like Lillian can be helped. And this is going to look really bad for Gerald. So we got about a couple of minutes left of the film. Poor Gerald. He paid the price for trying to be a good guy. And we're going to get one more look from Lillian here. She's looking back over the sheriff's shoulder. She has that crazy smile. And so I will stay with you guys and gals for the remainder of the credits, as I always do. And again, I want to thank everybody that hung out with me for the duration of the movie. Um, I want to thank the poet and Gory Tiger and Daniel for being in the chat tonight. I really, really appreciate it. It kept me from being in here by myself. So for those of you that had never seen Edge of the Axe and were able to stay for the duration or the majority of it, I hope you enjoyed it. And of course, if you were watching it on your own, you could listen to the dialogue and all of that. And you may want to go back and watch it without me talking over it, as well. If you had seen this before, I hope you enjoyed watching it again. And I want to also thank those of you that will watch this on the replay that weren't able to watch this live. And I do want to remind you that the next time I do watch alongs, not this weekend, but the following weekend, I will, and the credits are rolled, I will be doing one on Saturday and Sunday only because I didn't get to do just one of the guys, which was going to be the final Sunday watch along, unless people clamored for me to keep doing watch alongs on Saturday and Sunday. But as of now, I'm not really seeing the necessity of having two for a watch along weekend, and I have decided to cut it back to one on Saturdays. And again, this one was supposed to be on Saturday, and then I was supposed to do the final Sunday one for just one of the guys. And because I was sick yesterday, basically in bed all day, I didn't feel up to doing a watch along. So I did the Edge of the Axe watch along tonight, which meant that I could not do just one of the guys. So I've got a poll up now for the next Saturday watch along, and you guys and gals have already started voting. If you haven't voted and you want to get your vote in before I cut off the voting for that one. Feel free to. Um, and I can remind y'all again what movies are up on the poll: House by the Cemetery, Intruder, and City of the Living Dead, aka The Gates of Hell. So keep that in mind. If you're new to the channel and haven't checked out all my other content, please do. If you're loving the content that you're seeing and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content I've got coming out. Also, like any videos and streams that you particularly are interested in, and share with friends and family members that you think might like the content that I'm putting out. All of those things cost you absolutely nothing, but they support me and the channel. And my next goal is to make it to 1,000 subscribers. And I'm on my way. I've got 946 now. So if you haven't subscribed and you're loving the content, please, please, please subscribe. Tell all your friends and family members that you think would enjoy this stuff. And hopefully they will subscribe. Because I'll tell you, if I get to 1,000 subscribers, me and Candace are going to do some really cool cosplay for you guys and gals. I'm going to be Cheryl from The Evil Dead, and Candace will be none other than Mrs. Roper from Three's Company. So if you want to see us do some really cool cosplay, yeah, I got to get to 1,000 subscribers, guys and gals, and we'll do that for you. But I guess that's it for me for tonight. Again, I want to thank the poet, Daniel, Gory Tiger, all of you guys for showing up and hanging out with me tonight as we navigated through Edge of the Axe. And as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Sunday night, folks. And I'll see everybody next time.